Here are 10 test-taking tactics and strategies you can use immediately to skyrocket your score on the very next multiple choice exam. Your mission is to use these ideas and report back to us about your impressive success. We want to know about how you got excellent grades. None of these proven strategies is theoretical. Quite the opposite. It's all practical and immediately actionable. Oh, be sure to stay tuned to the end for the one thing you should immediately stop saying to yourself and instead replace it with this remarkably powerful 8-word phrase that works like magic to get correct answers to pop into your head. Let's dive right in. But be warned, do not dismiss any of these tactics as being too simple or basic because they produce profound results. The first tactic is a perfect example. Number 1, read the directions carefully. I can't stress this enough. I know that some of you can't wait to jump right into answering questions, but that could lead to disastrous consequences. And I'll bet some of you resist even the directions to putting together furniture from IKEA, too. If the test was created by your instructor, he or she may likely have different biases than if the test was created by the department head or if it's a standardized test created by a licensing board. For example, if the directions say, select the most correct answer, you've just been told that there may be more than one right answer or shades of right answers. That's where you'll need to apply your instructor's particular viewpoint on the subject. Give the answer you think your instructor wants, regardless of whether or not you personally agree with the instructor's point of view. Now, this is particularly important if the class is something like philosophy or ethics, and less important if the subject is related to math or science. Number 2, read the entire test first. Now, if you're able to do so, do it quickly. Read over the entire test first. You see, you can give yourself a huge advantage by doing this. It'll start your subconscious mind working in the background on some of the more difficult problems, and you will find that sometimes you'll even discover the answers to early questions may be contained in later questions. Look, I realize that not every exam will give you the ability to read it all first, but whenever possible, do it. It will ultimately save you time, not cost any. Number 3, work fast. Speed is important. Answer the easy ones first. It gives you time to go back and better consider the questions that require a bit more thought. Studies have shown that the students who trust themselves enough to blast through the test quickly nearly always do better than the slow, cautious ones who have to labor over every answer. Number 4, before you answer, guess. That's right, before you even look at your choices, think whether you already know the answer from your memory. Now, if you do, then find your answer in the choices and quickly move on. If not, then read the question again. You may have missed something. At the very least, your subconscious will work on the problem while you reread your choices. Number 5, watch out for weasel words. There are some words that people just tend to skip over when reading the question. Words like all, none, always, never. Other trickier ones are rarely, sometimes, tend to be, often, seldom. Here's a few more. Could be, maybe, possibly. You get the idea. These weasel words are thrown in there to deliberately trick you. Look, it's harder than you realize to write a multiple choice test. So test creators do what they can to trip you up. It's rare that anything is always true, so if you see something like that, you'd better be sure there are no exceptions. Sometimes you'll have two answers that are nearly identical, but are only different by a word or two. Pay special attention to those choices. Number 6, eliminate the least likely answers quickly. You're probably already doing this now, but I want you to pay special attention to this tactic because it can really speed up your progress and give you more time at the end to go back and check your answers or to work on the hard ones. Some of the choices they give you will be obviously wrong. Others may be partly wrong. You can eliminate them quickly. Sometimes you will have answers that are in pairs, but say completely opposite things. Usually one of them will be the right answer. Number 7, pick the answer that's closest. This frequently happens on math and science tests. You need to be a little like Goldilocks in the story with the 3 bears. One answer will be too high, one will be too low. You're looking for the one that's just right. However, you might have to settle for the one that's mostly right. Sometimes there may be 2 of them that are pretty close. Instead of taking the time to do a full calculation, estimate the answer and pick the one that's closest to your estimate. If several answers are overly similar, don't just jump at choosing. Read each answer. Observe what the differences are. Maybe it's a decimal point in the wrong place, or perhaps it's a changed symbol in the formula. Reading every answer before you choose will sometimes ring a little bell in the back of your mind to alert you. Number 8, play the odds. Guess. You need to know how the test is being graded. Does a wrong answer count the same as one where you didn't answer at all? Or are those 2 situations graded differently? If you're not being penalized any more for a wrong answer than one you left blank, then you might as well do your best to eliminate the ones that are obviously wrong and take your best guess. However, in some standardized exams, less points are deducted for answers left blank than for those that are wrong. So be sure that you know how your test will be graded before you take it. And the easiest way to do that is to simply ask your instructor. Think of it this way. If your test has 4 answer choices, typically you can eliminate 2 of them immediately. Now your odds are 50-50 of guessing correctly. That means that if you've used the other tactics we've covered so far, that the minimum grade would probably be about 75%. That's a pretty good place to start from. In fact, I've known students who, for whatever reason, refuse to study or do the classwork, who simply using these types of strategies were able to pass their exams. Mind you, they didn't get top grades, but they didn't flunk out either. Number 9, pay attention to your hunches. Your intuition can be very valuable during your exams. Learn to trust yourself. After you've answered all the questions, go back to the ones you struggled with. Read the question again, read each of your possible answer choices again, and then, if something is still telling you to change your answer, do it. Trust yourself. Let me caution you though, don't change answers back and forth several times. That rarely works out and it wastes valuable time. Number 10, use all your time. Just because you finish the test doesn't mean you're done just yet. Go back and check your work. Reread the directions to be certain you didn't miss anything. Check to see if your answers are in the right place. Sometimes students who skip a question wind up making the right choice, but in the wrong place. Be sure to review the questions you struggled with or marked to come back to later. Then, if there's any time left, go back one last time and check over all your other answers. At this point, do not change any answers unless you have a really good reason for doing so. Now, here's a few more things to know. These tactics are in priority order. That means that tactics 1, 2, and 3 are the most important ones. Be sure that no matter what, you do those things. Then, whenever needed, apply whatever additional strategies are called for. Also, you may have realized that you're already using some of these tactics now, but it's likely you're doing it kind of on automatic pilot. I want you to be aware that you need to be doing it deliberately and on purpose. If you've found this video to be helpful, be sure to give it a like with the thumbs up button, and please subscribe to my channel, Be Smarter Faster, and hit that little bell icon notification button so that you're notified of future videos. And please share it with the people you care about on social media. Oh, one last thing. As I promised at the beginning, I often hear people say something that will kill your results. They say or think, "I can't remember." Whew, that's the kiss of death. If you catch yourself doing that, stop it. I can't think of anything worse you can possibly say to yourself. You're giving your subconscious mind the worst possible instructions. Instead, say this: "It will come to me in a moment." I'm serious. Say it with me. It will come to me in a moment. Then, as soon as you say it, take a deep breath and go to the next questions on your test. You will often be very pleasantly surprised when the answer pops into your head. By the way, I explain how this phenomenon works more thoroughly in my series, Instant Concentration: How to Focus Your Mind in a World of Information Overload. You'll see the link for the first episode in the written description below the video, along with additional resources that I have for you there. As always, everything I teach does take a little bit of work and effort, and that it is absolutely worth it. Always remember that the fastest way to get to the top is to get off your bottom. I look forward to having you join me on my other videos soon.